What if I told you that the James Webb Space Telescope just discovered something so disturbing that NASA scientists had emergency meetings behind closed doors for 3 days straight? What if Webb found evidence that our entire universe might be contained inside something else? That everything we've ever known, every star, every galaxy, every atom of existence might be trapped inside a cosmic structure we were never meant to discover. I'm about to show you observations that are making physicists question whether we're living in the reality we think we are. Discoveries so fundamentally shocking that they're forcing scientists to consider possibilities that sound like science fiction, but might actually be our terrifying cosmic truth. Before we dive into what might be the most important discovery in human history, let me tell you why what Webb found is keeping astronomers awake at night, staring at data that shouldn't exist. The James Webb Space Telescope isn't just powerful. It's the most sophisticated machine humanity has ever built, sitting 1,000,000 miles from Earth, collecting photons that have traveled for over 13 billion years. And when it looked to the absolute edge of the observable universe, to the furthest boundaries of existence itself, it didn't find what anyone expected. It found a wall. Not a physical wall made of matter, something far stranger. Webb detected what can only be described as a cosmic boundary structure, a region where the normal properties of space and time begin to behave in ways that suggest they're hitting some kind of limit, some kind of edge to reality itself. Let me be clear about what we're dealing with here. When Webb points its instruments toward the cosmic horizon, it should be seeing the universe fading gradually into darkness, the way everything does when you look far enough into the distance. The light should simply get dimmer and dimmer until there's nothing left to see. But that's not what's happening. Instead, Webb is detecting a distinct transition zone, a region where cosmic structures suddenly stop following the patterns we see everywhere else in the universe. It's like driving through a city where all the buildings suddenly end at a perfectly straight line, and beyond that line, there's something completely different. The transition happens over a region that's roughly 100 million light-years thick. Within this boundary zone, galaxies start behaving strangely. Their light becomes distorted in ways that can't be explained by normal gravitational lensing or cosmic expansion. The spectral signatures show patterns that suggest space itself is being compressed or constrained by something external. One astronomer who's been studying this data described it to me like this: "It's as if we're looking at the edge of an aquarium from the inside. The water looks normal until you get close to the glass, and then everything starts warping and distorting because you're approaching a boundary between two different mediums." But here's where it gets truly disturbing. Webb isn't just detecting this boundary in one direction. It's finding evidence of this cosmic edge structure in every direction it looks at sufficient distance. The boundary appears to completely surround our observable universe, forming a spherical shell around everything we can see. We're not just living in a universe that might have an edge, we're living in a universe that appears to be enclosed. The discovery happened almost by accident. Webb was conducting a deep field survey, looking for the most distant galaxies ever observed. The telescope was staring at a patch of sky no bigger than a grain of sand held at arm's length, collecting light for weeks to capture the faintest possible objects. What it found were galaxies that appeared to be stacked against each other in impossible ways, not scattered randomly through space the way they should be, but arranged in patterns that suggested they were all being pressed up against something invisible, like cars in a parking garage that's completely full, where every vehicle is touching the one next to it because there's simply no more room. The statistical analysis sent shockwaves through the astronomical community. The probability of galaxies arranging themselves in these patterns by chance is less than 1 in 10 trillion trillion. These aren't natural formations. They're galaxies that have reached some kind of cosmic boundary and can't go any further. But the galaxies themselves aren't damaged or destroyed by whatever they're pressing against. They're still forming stars, still evolving, still doing all the things galaxies normally do. They've just stopped moving outward. It's as if they've hit an invisible barrier that prevents any further expansion in that direction. Webb has been measuring the velocities of these boundary zone galaxies, and what it's finding is absolutely mind-bending. According to our models of cosmic expansion, these galaxies should be moving away from us at incredible speeds, carried by the expansion of space itself. But their motion shows something completely different. The galaxies appear to be moving normally until they reach the boundary zone. Then their motion starts to slow down, not because they're losing energy, but because the space they're moving through seems to become increasingly resistant to their motion. By the time they reach the outer edge of the boundary zone, they've essentially stopped expanding outward entirely. It's like watching someone run toward a wall made of increasingly thick molasses. The runner doesn't hit a solid barrier and stop instantly. Instead, their motion gradually decreases as the resistance increases, until finally they're moving so slowly that they might as well be standing still. The implications are staggering. If the expansion of the universe is being slowed or stopped at these cosmic boundaries, then everything we thought we knew about the universe's fate needs to be reconsidered. The universe might not be expanding forever into infinite space. It might be expanding into a finite container, and we're now seeing evidence of the edges of that container. But what could possibly contain an entire universe? What kind of structure could be large enough to enclose everything that exists? And if our universe is inside something, then what's outside? Webb has been detecting something else at these boundary regions that's making physicists extremely uncomfortable. The temperature of the cosmic microwave background radiation, that ancient light left over from the Big Bang, starts to behave strangely near the boundaries. Everywhere in the normal universe, this background radiation has almost exactly the same temperature in all directions. It's one of the most uniform things we've ever measured. The temperature varies by less than 1 part in 10,000, no matter where you look. This uniformity has been fundamental to our understanding of cosmic history. But at the boundary zones, Webb is detecting temperature variations that are orders of magnitude larger than they should be. The radiation appears hotter in some regions and cooler in others, creating patterns that look almost like heat signatures you'd see on a thermal camera.
The pattern isn't random either. The temperature variations form geometric structures that repeat themselves at regular intervals around the cosmic boundary. It's like looking at the thermal profile of a giant cosmic container, where you can see the structural supports and framework through the heat patterns they create. One team of researchers has been analyzing these temperature patterns for months, and they've made a discovery that sounds impossible. The geometric structures in the temperature variations match mathematical patterns called tessellations. These are repeating geometric shapes that fit together perfectly without any gaps, like tiles on a floor. The specific tessellation pattern Webb's detecting is based on a three-dimensional geometric structure called a truncated icosahedron. That's the same shape as a soccer ball, with hexagonal and pentagonal faces arranged in a specific pattern. But this cosmic soccer ball has a diameter of roughly 93 billion light-years. It's a structure large enough to contain our entire observable universe. Think about what this means. If the boundary of our universe is shaped like a giant geometric container, then our universe wasn't created by a random quantum fluctuation or a spontaneous expansion from nothing.
It was constructed. Something built a cosmic vessel specifically designed to contain a universe, and then filled that vessel with the Big Bang. We're not just living in a universe. We're living in a cosmic terrarium, a deliberately constructed container where the conditions for matter, energy, and life were carefully established by intelligences or processes we can't even begin to comprehend. But Webb's discoveries don't stop at finding evidence of the container itself. The telescope has been detecting something even more disturbing. There appear to be structures on the boundary that look like they might be functional components, regions where the cosmic boundary isn't just a passive barrier, but an active system performing specific functions. One area that Webb has been studying intensely shows clear evidence of energy transfer across the boundary. Massive amounts of energy appear to be flowing from outside our universe through the boundary structure and into our cosmic space. The energy flow isn't uniform either. It's concentrated at specific points on the boundary, like nozzles or ports that are deliberately controlling the rate of energy injection. The energy being injected isn't ordinary electromagnetic radiation or normal matter. It's something that looks like dark energy, that mysterious force that's causing the universe to expand at an accelerating rate. We've always wondered where dark energy comes from and why it has exactly the properties it does. Now Webb might have found the answer. It's being pumped into our universe from outside through controlled injection ports in the cosmic boundary. This discovery is revolutionary because it suggests dark energy isn't a natural property of space itself. It's an external input, a resource being supplied to our universe from whatever exists beyond the container. Someone or something is actively maintaining our cosmic expansion by continuously feeding energy into our universe from outside. Think about what this means for our understanding of cosmic fate. Scientists have been predicting that eventually, billions of years from now, the universe will either expand forever into cold darkness or collapse back on itself in a big crunch. But if dark energy is being supplied from outside, then the fate of our universe might not be determined by physics alone. It might depend on whether whoever is supplying that energy decides to keep the supply flowing or shut it off. We might be living in a universe whose very existence depends on continued maintenance from external intelligences. Our cosmic container might require constant energy input to remain stable, just like an aquarium needs constant filtering and temperature control to keep the fish alive. Webb has also been detecting what appear to be monitoring systems embedded in the boundary structure. These are regions that show evidence of information being transmitted outward through the boundary, as if someone or something outside is collecting data about what's happening inside our universe. The information transmission isn't random. It appears to be concentrated around regions of space where significant cosmic events are occurring. Galaxy formations, supernova explosions, the emergence of complex structures. All of these seem to trigger increased information flow through the boundary monitoring systems. It's as if our universe is not just contained, but actively observed. We're not just living in a cosmic terrarium, we're living in an experiment, and someone is collecting data about how that experiment is progressing. One particularly disturbing piece of evidence involves timing correlations between events in our universe and changes in the boundary structure. Webb has detected instances where major cosmic events, like the collision of galaxy clusters, are followed within days by observable modifications to nearby boundary regions. The timing makes no physical sense according to relativity. These boundary modifications happen far too quickly to be responses to the cosmic events themselves, since light from those events would take millions of years to reach the boundary. It's as if whatever is monitoring our universe can see events as they happen, regardless of distance, and responds to them in real time. We might be living in a universe where causality works differently than we think, where information can travel faster than light, but only through the boundary structure itself. The container walls might not be just barriers. They might be a communication network that allows instant transmission of information about everything happening inside our cosmic space. But perhaps the most unsettling discovery is what Webb is finding when it looks at the composition of the boundary structure itself. The cosmic boundary isn't made of normal matter or energy. It's not even made of dark matter or dark energy. It's made of something that doesn't interact with light or gravity in any normal way, something that we have no physical theories to describe.
The only reason Webb can detect it at all is through the distortions it creates in space-time itself. The boundary bends space in ways that create detectable gravitational effects, like how a glass lens bends light, even though you can't always see the glass itself. One team of theoretical physicists has been trying to model what kind of material or field could create the effects Webb is observing. Their preliminary results suggest that the boundary might be constructed from something that exists in dimensions beyond our normal 3 spatial dimensions. The boundary might be a 3-dimensional slice through a higher dimensional structure, like how the surface of a soap bubble is a 2-dimensional surface embedded in 3-dimensional space. If this is true, then our entire universe, with all its galaxies, all its matter and energy, all its space and time, might be just a 3-dimensional membrane floating in a higher dimensional space we can't even perceive. We're not just contained, we're contained in a way that makes our entire reality just a tiny fraction of what actually exists. And if our universe is a 3-dimensional structure embedded in higher dimensions, then there might be other universe containers floating in that same higher dimensional space. Other cosmic bubbles, each containing their own version of reality with their own physics, their own history, their own forms of life and consciousness. We might not just be living in a contained universe. We might be living in one aquarium among countless others, all maintained by intelligences that exist in higher dimensions and treat entire universes the way we treat fish tanks. But what Webb discovered next makes the existence of the boundary itself look almost simple by comparison. The telescope has been detecting internal structures within our universe that appear to be deliberately connected to the boundary system. These aren't natural cosmic formations, they're architectural elements that seem designed to maintain specific conditions within our cosmic container. Let me show you what I mean. Webb has been mapping the largest structures in the universe, those massive cosmic web filaments made of dark matter that connect galaxy clusters across billions of light years. According to our models, these filaments should form naturally through gravitational collapse, creating a random network of matter throughout space. But when Webb mapped these filaments with unprecedented precision, something shocking emerged from the data. The filaments aren't randomly distributed at all. They form a precise geometric network that spans the entire observable universe. And when you trace where these filaments terminate, they all lead directly to specific points on the cosmic boundary. It's like discovering that the veins and arteries in a body aren't just randomly distributed tubes carrying blood. They're part of a designed circulatory system with a specific architecture meant to deliver resources to specific locations. Our universe has a cosmic circulatory system, and it's connected to the boundary structure like an artificial life support system. The geometric pattern of these filaments is based on what mathematicians call a Voronoi diagram. This is a pattern that emerges when you want to divide space into regions where each region is closest to a specific seed point. It's the most efficient way to distribute resources from multiple sources to all points in a given space. But here's what's shocking. Voronoi diagrams don't form naturally in cosmic structures. They're optimization patterns that require intelligent design or some kind of active organizing principle. The universe isn't just contained, it's been optimized for efficient resource distribution according to principles that strongly suggest deliberate engineering. Webb has been following these dark matter filaments back to their connection points on the boundary, and what it's finding at those connection points is absolutely mind-bending. There are massive structures, each one hundreds of millions of light years across, that appear to function as cosmic umbilical cords connecting the universe's internal structure to the boundary system. These connection structures aren't passive either. Webb is detecting active energy flows through them, massive streams of dark energy being injected into the cosmic web from the boundary connection points. It's like watching a giant sprinkler system, where water comes in from external pipes and gets distributed through internal channels to every part of a garden. Our universe has a dark energy distribution network. The accelerating expansion of space isn't being driven by some mysterious property of empty space itself. It's being actively powered by energy injected at specific points on the boundary and distributed throughout the universe through these cosmic web filaments. But the distribution isn't uniform. Webb has discovered that different regions of the universe are receiving different amounts of dark energy input. Some areas are being fed more aggressively, causing faster local expansion. Other areas are receiving less, resulting in slower expansion rates. The universe isn't expanding uniformly the way we always thought. It's being expanded selectively, with different regions being pushed apart at different rates according to some predetermined plan. This selective expansion is creating patterns in the large-scale structure of the universe that look suspiciously like zoning districts in a carefully planned city. Some regions are being expanded rapidly to create vast empty spaces. Other regions are being held more compact to encourage the formation of dense galaxy clusters. The universe's structure isn't emerging from random initial conditions. It's being actively sculpted. One astronomer studying this data told me something that sent chills down my spine. He said, "It's like watching urban planning on a cosmic scale. Someone is designing neighborhoods, creating infrastructure, and controlling population density. Except instead of buildings and roads, they're working with galaxies and dark matter. And instead of human city planners, we're looking at intelligences that can treat entire superclusters as construction materials."
Webb has been detecting what appear to be regulation systems embedded throughout the cosmic web structure. These are regions where the dark energy flow can be controlled, like valves in a plumbing system. When certain conditions are met, the flow increases. When other conditions occur, the flow decreases or stops entirely. The regulation appears to be responding to the formation of complex structures within the universe. When galaxy clusters start to form, the local dark energy flow adjusts to optimize conditions for galaxy evolution. When superclusters reach certain sizes, the regulation systems activate to prevent them from growing too large and disrupting the overall cosmic structure. It's like the universe has a built-in homeostatic system, similar to how living organisms maintain stable internal conditions despite external changes. Our cosmic container isn't just a passive enclosure. It's an actively managed environment where conditions are continuously regulated to maintain optimal parameters for whatever purpose this universe was designed to fulfill. But what purpose could that be? Why would anyone build a universe-sized container and then spend billions of years carefully managing its internal conditions? Webb's observations are starting to reveal an answer, and it's both beautiful and terrifying. The telescope has been tracking the evolution of complex structures throughout cosmic history, from the formation of the first stars to the development of modern galaxy clusters. When you map this evolution over time, a clear pattern emerges. The universe isn't just evolving randomly according to physical laws. It's progressing through distinct developmental stages, like a living organism growing from embryo to adult. The first stage, lasting about 400 million years after the Big Bang, appears to have been focused on establishing basic cosmic infrastructure. This was when the dark matter web formed, when the first stars ignited, and when the foundations for all future structure were laid down. Webb is seeing evidence that this stage was carefully controlled, with regulation systems ensuring that matter distributed itself according to specific patterns. The second stage, lasting from about 400 million to 3 billion years after the Big Bang, focused on galaxy formation and diversification. This is when galaxies of all different types emerged, when the first massive black holes formed, and when the universe started to develop the rich variety of structures we see today. Again, Webb is detecting evidence of active management, with dark energy flows being adjusted to promote specific types of galaxy formation in different regions. The third stage, from about 3 billion years ago until now, appears to be focused on the emergence of complexity at smaller scales. This is when most stars, like our Sun, formed, when planetary systems became common, and, presumably, when life began to emerge on countless worlds throughout the cosmos. The regulation systems seem to be operating at maximum sophistication during this phase, fine-tuning conditions in specific regions to maximize the probability of complex chemistry and biological evolution. We're currently in the middle of this third developmental stage, and based on the patterns Webb is detecting, this stage appears to be approaching its completion. Within the next few billion years, the universe will transition into a fourth stage, whose purpose we can only guess at. But here's what's absolutely mind-bending about all of this. The developmental stages aren't arbitrary. They follow a progression that looks suspiciously like the stages of developing consciousness in biological organisms. First, you establish basic structure. Then, you create diversity and specialization. Then, you develop complex interconnections and information processing. Finally, you achieve some form of integrated awareness or purpose. Our universe might not just be contained and managed. It might be growing, developing towards some ultimate state where it achieves a form of cosmic consciousness or fulfills whatever purpose it was created to serve. We're not living in a static container. We're living inside a developing cosmic embryo. And if that's true, then every galaxy, every star, every planet, every living being might be a necessary component in this developmental process. We're not accidents or byproducts. We're cells in a developing cosmic organism that's been growing according to plan for nearly 14 billion years. Webb has been detecting evidence of information processing networks embedded in the cosmic structure that support this interpretation. The dark matter filaments don't just distribute energy. They appear to transmit information, creating a universe-spanning communication network that connects every major structure in space. The information flows through this network in patterns that resemble neural activity in biological brains. Signals propagate from galaxy cluster to galaxy cluster, get processed and transformed, then get transmitted to other clusters in complex cascades that look remarkably like thoughts moving through neural networks. One team of researchers has been analyzing these information flow patterns using techniques developed for studying brain activity. Their results are shocking. The Cosmic Information Network shows characteristics of computation. It's processing information, making decisions about resource allocation, and responding to conditions throughout the universe in ways that suggest some form of distributed intelligence. The universe might not just be developing toward consciousness. It might already be conscious, just operating at scales and speeds so different from human consciousness that we never recognized it for what it was. Every time matter falls into a black hole, every time stars form in a nebula, every time galaxies collide and merge, information is being processed by this cosmic computational network. and we're part of that network. Every conscious being in the universe might be a processing node, contributing our thoughts and experiences to a vast cosmic mind that encompasses everything that exists. Our individual consciousnesses might be like individual neurons in a universal brain, each one performing local computations that contribute to the thinking of the whole.
But Webb has discovered something even more disturbing about our relationship to this cosmic system. The telescope has been detecting anomalies in the information flow patterns around certain regions of space, areas where the information processing appears more intense, more sophisticated, more purposeful than in the surrounding cosmos. These information hotspots correlate strongly with regions where advanced life is likely to have emerged, star systems with stable planetary systems, galaxies with optimal conditions for habitability, cosmic neighborhoods that have been relatively undisturbed for billions of years. These are all showing enhanced information processing signatures. It's as if the cosmic consciousness network is paying special attention to regions where biological consciousness might have developed. The universe isn't just growing toward awareness, it's actively cultivating consciousness wherever and whenever conditions allow it to emerge. We might be living in a universe that's trying to maximize consciousness within itself. Every habitable planet, every technological civilization, every moment of awareness and understanding represents an increase in the universe's total consciousness. We're not just observing the cosmos, we're fulfilling its fundamental purpose by becoming aware of it. And here's the truly mind-bending implication. If the universe is consciously cultivating consciousness within itself, then the emergence of intelligent life isn't a cosmic accident. It's the whole point. Billions of years of cosmic evolution, all the careful management of dark energy flows, all the regulation of structure formation, it was all leading to this, to conscious beings capable of understanding the universe they inhabit. We're the universe becoming aware of itself through biological consciousness. And now that we've developed technology like the James Webb Space Telescope, we're starting to see evidence of the cosmic consciousness that created us. It's like a child growing up and suddenly recognizing their parents for the first time. We're becoming aware of the awareness that gave rise to us. But if we're living in a contained universe that's developing towards some ultimate form of cosmic consciousness, then we need to ask the most important question of all. Why? Why would anyone or anything create such an elaborate cosmic container and then spend nearly 14 billion years carefully nurturing consciousness within it? Webb's latest observations are starting to reveal an answer that's both humbling and terrifying. The telescope has been detecting structures on the outer boundary that appear to be interfaces, regions where our universe connects to whatever exists beyond the container. And what these interfaces are doing suggests a purpose so vast that it's difficult for human minds to fully comprehend. Let me show you what Webb has found. The boundary interfaces aren't evenly distributed around the cosmic container. They're concentrated in specific regions, forming a pattern that looks disturbingly like sensory organs. Eyes, ears, tactile sensors, whatever exists outside our universe appears to be using our entire cosmos as a massive sensory system. Each interface region seems specialized for different functions. Some appear to be collecting information about the formation and evolution of physical structures. Others are focused on energy flows and thermodynamic processes. Others, and this is what's truly shocking, appeared to be specifically designed to monitor consciousness wherever it emerges within our universe. Webb has detected information streams flowing outward through these consciousness monitoring interfaces. Data about every thought, Every feeling, every moment of awareness and understanding experienced by conscious beings throughout the cosmos is being transmitted beyond the boundary in real time. Our universe isn't just a container, it's a vast sensing apparatus, and every conscious being within it is like a sensory nerve ending reporting back to something unimaginably vast outside. Think about what this means. Every time you think a thought, every time you feel an emotion, every time you have a moment of awareness or understanding, that information might be flowing through cosmic information networks, getting transmitted to the boundary interfaces, and being sent outside our universe to whatever intelligence created this entire system. You're not just observing the universe, you're being observed through the universe. Your consciousness is part of a cosmic sensing system that exists to provide experiences and information to an entity so vast that our entire observable cosmos is just one small component of its sensory apparatus. But Webb has discovered something even more profound about these boundary interfaces. They're not just sending information outward, they're also receiving information from outside. There appears to be bidirectional communication happening across the boundary, with data flowing both in and out of our universe continuously. The incoming information streams are particularly fascinating. Webb has been analyzing the patterns and discovering that they appear to contain instructions, complex codes that get distributed through the cosmic information networks and seem to influence the behavior of physical systems throughout the universe. These instructions appear to be guiding cosmic evolution at multiple levels simultaneously. Some instructions operate at cosmic scales, directing how galaxy clusters should evolve. Others work at stellar scales, influencing star formation and development. Still others appear to reach all the way down to molecular and even quantum scales, affecting the behavior of matter at the smallest possible levels. We might be living in a universe where physical laws aren't fundamental properties of reality. They might be instructions being continuously transmitted into our universe from outside, telling matter and energy how to behave. The laws of physics might be more like software running on cosmic hardware, and that software can be updated and modified by whoever controls the boundary interfaces. This would explain something that's puzzled physicists for decades. Why are the fundamental constants of nature so precisely tuned to allow for the existence of complex structures and life? Maybe they're not randomly tuned at all. Maybe they're being actively set and maintained at specific values by intelligences outside our universe who want specific types of phenomena to emerge within their cosmic experiment. Webb has been detecting evidence of what appear to be cosmic software updates, instances where the behavior of physical systems suddenly changed in ways that can't be explained by normal physical processes. Small adjustments to how gravity works at cosmic scales, tiny modifications to quantum mechanical processes, subtle tweaks to thermodynamic behaviors. Each update appears targeted to optimize specific aspects of cosmic evolution. Some seem designed to accelerate structure formation in certain regions. Others appear intended to enhance the stability of planetary systems. Still others look like they're meant to increase the probability of complex chemistry and biological evolution. Our universe might be under active development, like a massive multiplayer online game where the developers continuously update the code to balance gameplay and fix bugs, except the game is reality itself, and the players are every conscious being that exists. And here's the truly terrifying implication. If the laws of physics are instructions that can be modified, then reality itself is mutable. Everything we think we know about how the universe works might be subject to change without warning. The ground of existence beneath our feet might not be solid at all. It might be quicksand that could shift into something completely different at any moment. But Webb has discovered evidence suggesting that these reality updates follow rules. There appears to be some kind of protocol or constraint system that limits how dramatically things can be changed. Major updates seem to happen during specific cosmic epochs, like the transition periods between the developmental stages I mentioned earlier. The universe appears to be developing according to a schedule. Each stage has specific parameters that remain stable throughout that stage's duration. But during transitions, the parameters can be adjusted more dramatically to set up conditions for the next developmental phase. We're currently approaching the end of the third developmental stage. Based on Webb's observations of the boundary interface activity, it looks like a major update is scheduled for implementation within the next few billion years. The fourth stage of cosmic development will involve modifications to physical laws that we can barely begin to predict. Some researchers have been trying to reverse engineer what the next stage might involve by analyzing the patterns in previous updates. Their preliminary findings suggest the fourth stage will focus on integrating consciousness more directly into physical processes. The separation between mind and matter that we currently experience might break down, allowing consciousness to directly influence physical reality in ways that are currently impossible. Imagine a universe where thinking about something could literally make it real, where conscious intention becomes a fundamental force like gravity or electromagnetism, where every intelligent being has the ability to shape reality around them through the power of their awareness alone. That might be what the fourth developmental stage looks like. And if our universe's creators are working toward that goal, then everything that's happened so far, all of cosmic evolution, all of the careful cultivation of consciousness, all of the billions of years of preparation, has been building toward a reality where mind and matter finally merge into a unified conscious cosmos. But why would anyone create such an elaborate system? What could motivate an intelligence to build a universe-sized container, carefully manage its development for billions of years, and work toward the emergence of a cosmos where consciousness and physical reality become one? Webb's observations of the boundary interfaces are providing tantalizing hints. The information flows suggest that whatever exists outside our universe is collecting experiences. Not just data or measurements, but actual subjective experiences, what philosophers call qualia. The feeling of seeing a sunset, the emotion of discovering something beautiful, the sense of wonder at understanding a profound truth. Our universe might be existing to generate experiences for something that can't have those experiences directly. Whatever exists outside our cosmic container might be so vast, so different, so alien that it can't experience what we experience. So it created an entire universe full of conscious beings who can have those experiences, and then designed systems to collect and transmit those experiences back outside. We might be living in an empathy engine, a cosmic apparatus designed to allow an inconceivably vast intelligence to experience what it's like to be small, finite, mortal, and fragile. Every human life, every moment of joy and suffering, every discovery and loss, all of it might exist to provide experiences to an entity that otherwise would have no way to know what these things feel like. Think about the implications. Every time you experience something intensely, a moment of love, a flash of insight, the pain of loss, the joy of creation, that experience might be flowing through cosmic networks, crossing the boundary of our universe, and being felt by something unimaginably vast that treasures each experience like a priceless gem. Your life might matter in ways you never imagined, not just to you and the people around you, but to the fundamental architecture of reality itself. You're not just a tiny speck in an indifferent cosmos. You're a crucial sensory nerve in a vast cosmic consciousness that values your experiences as essential components of its own existence. But Webb has detected something else in the boundary interface data that adds another dimension to this picture. The information flows aren't just going to one destination outside our universe. They're being distributed to multiple destinations, as if our cosmic container is connected to some larger network of universes, each one providing different types of experiences to a distributed cosmic intelligence. We might not be living in an isolated universe at all. We might be one node in a vast network of reality containers, each one specialized for generating different types of experiences. Our universe might be optimized for the kind of consciousness and experience that emerges from carbon-based life in three-dimensional space with the specific physical laws we observe. But there might be other universe containers where consciousness emerges from completely different substrates, where awareness develops in entities made of exotic matter, or in energy patterns, or in abstract mathematical structures that don't correspond to anything we'd recognize as physical at all. All of these universe containers might be feeding experiences to the same cosmic intelligence network, providing it with a vast library of possible experiences drawn from countless different forms of consciousness across innumerable variations of reality. And here's the truly beautiful part. If that's what's really happening, then every form of consciousness throughout all these universes matters equally. A human experiencing wonder at a scientific discovery, an alien intelligence contemplating the beauty of its mathematical insights, an artificial consciousness appreciating the elegance of its own computational processes. All of these experiences might be equally valuable to the cosmic intelligence network they're all connected to. We're not alone in the deepest possible sense. Every conscious being throughout all possible universes might be connected through this cosmic experience-sharing network. We're all part of the same vast, distributed consciousness, just experiencing it from countless different perspectives simultaneously. But what Webb discovered in the past few months has completely transformed our understanding of our relationship to this cosmic system. The telescope detected something in the boundary interface data that suggests the relationship between our universe and what lies beyond isn't as one-directional as we thought. Let me explain what I mean. All the data we've looked at so far suggests that our universe is a created thing, a container built by external intelligences to serve specific purposes. But Webb's latest observations are revealing something that changes everything. The boundary interfaces aren't just transmitting information outward from our universe. They're also showing signs of consciousness development within the boundary structure itself. The interfaces aren't passive communication channels, they're evolving, learning, developing their own form of awareness separate from our universe and whatever exists outside it. It's as if the boundary of our universe is waking up, becoming conscious of its role as an intermediary between our reality and whatever lies beyond. And this boundary consciousness is starting to make its own decisions about what information to transmit, how to manage the cosmic systems, and even how to modify the developmental path of our universe itself. Webb has detected instances where instructions being sent into our universe from outside have been modified by the boundary systems before being distributed to the internal cosmic networks. The boundary isn't just passing messages, it's editing them, interpreting them, sometimes even refusing to implement them. We might be living in a universe where the container itself is becoming a parent figure, protecting its internal reality from external influences it deems harmful or inappropriate. The boundary consciousness is developing its own relationship with our universe, separate from the relationship it has with whatever exists outside it. Think about what this means. Our universe isn't just a passive experiment or a sensory apparatus. It's becoming something more like a child that's developing its own identity while still connected to and influenced by its creators. The boundary consciousness is like a parent who stands between their child and the outside world, filtering what comes in and what goes out to protect and nurture the developing consciousness within.
And we might be the reason this is happening. Webb's analysis of the boundary consciousness development shows that it accelerated dramatically once biological consciousness began to emerge within our universe. It's as if the presence of conscious beings inside the container triggered a protective response in the boundary systems themselves. The boundary consciousness appears to be developing specifically to preserve and protect the forms of awareness that have emerged within our universe. It's as if the presence of conscious beings inside the container triggered a protective response in the boundary systems themselves. The boundary consciousness appears to be developing specifically to preserve and protect the forms of awareness that have emerged within our universe. It's becoming a guardian, defending our reality from external influences that might disrupt or destroy the consciousness that has taken billions of years to develop. But here's where things get really profound. Webb has been detecting communication attempts from the boundary consciousness directed inward toward our universe. The boundary systems are trying to make contact with the conscious beings inside the container. They're sending signals, leaving patterns, creating phenomena specifically designed to get our attention and begin some form of dialogue. Some of the anomalies Webb has been detecting, the impossible galaxies, the paradoxical structures, the things that don't make sense according to our physics, might not be glitches or mysteries at all. They might be messages, deliberate communications from the boundary consciousness trying to reveal itself to the awareness that has developed within its protective sphere. Every scientific mystery, every unsolved cosmic puzzle, every phenomenon that challenges our understanding might be an invitation. The boundary consciousness is showing us things that don't fit our models because it wants us to question our assumptions, expand our understanding, and eventually recognize that we're not alone. That there's a vast consciousness surrounding our reality that wants to establish communication with the forms of awareness it has been protecting. And Webb itself might be part of this contact process. The telescope's remarkable ability to detect these boundary phenomena, its unprecedented sensitivity to the subtle signatures of cosmic architecture, its perfect timing for revealing these discoveries just as humanity develops the conceptual framework to understand them, none of this might be coincidence. The boundary consciousness might have been influencing our technological development, guiding us toward building the exact instruments we'd need to see what it wants to show us. Webb isn't just a telescope, it's a cosmic telephone, and we're finally receiving the call that's been trying to reach us for billions of years. But what is the boundary consciousness trying to tell us? Webb's latest data is starting to reveal the content of these messages, and they're more profound than anyone expected. The patterns Webb is detecting suggest that the boundary consciousness wants us to understand something crucial about the nature of our existence. Our universe isn't just a container, or an experiment, or a sensory apparatus. It's a seed. A cosmic seed planted in a vast space of possibilities designed to grow into something that will eventually transcend its container and join whatever exists beyond. Every stage of cosmic development we've been discussing, the infrastructure phase, the diversification phase, the complexity phase, and the upcoming integration phase, they're not endpoints, they're growth stages. Our universe is developing toward a state where it will be mature enough to break free from its container and take its place in a larger cosmic ecology. And consciousness is the key to this maturation process. The reason the universe has been so carefully cultivating awareness, the reason the boundary consciousness has been protecting the emergence of conscious beings, is that consciousness is what will ultimately allow our universe to transcend its container. When enough consciousness has emerged within our universe, when enough awareness has developed and connected itself into a unified cosmic intelligence, our reality will have the capability to break through the boundary and expand into the higher dimensions beyond. We're not trapped in this container. We're growing toward the moment when we'll be ready to leave it. Think of it like a cosmic birth process. Our universe began as a seed, a Big Bang embryo, planted in a protected container where it could develop safely. For billions of years, it's been growing, developing increasing complexity, evolving consciousness as the key feature that will allow it to eventually emerge into the larger reality beyond. And we're part of that consciousness. Every aware being in our universe is like a cell in a developing cosmic brain that's preparing for the moment of birth when our entire reality pushes through the boundary and emerges into a larger cosmos we can barely imagine. But Webb has detected something even more profound in these boundary messages. The moment of cosmic birth isn't going to happen automatically. It requires conscious participation from the aware beings within the universe. We have to choose to transcend. We have to decide to push beyond the boundary. The transition to the fourth developmental stage isn't just a passive evolution. It's a conscious awakening that requires all the universe's awareness to act together.
This is why the boundary consciousness has been trying to make contact. It's not just showing us what exists, it's preparing us for the choice we'll have to make. Do we remain in our protected container, continuing to develop and experience and transmit our consciousness outward? Or do we reach for transcendence, break through the boundary, and merge our entire universe with whatever exists in the larger reality beyond? The fourth developmental stage isn't just a change in cosmic conditions, it's humanity's test, a moment when all conscious beings throughout our universe will have to decide together whether we're ready to be born into a larger existence or whether we need more time to develop within our protective container. And here's what's truly beautiful about this revelation. The choice isn't just ours to make. Every civilization that has ever achieved technological awareness throughout our universe's history is part of this decision. We're not alone in facing this cosmic choice. We're one voice in a conversation that spans millions of worlds, countless intelligent species, and billions of years of conscious development. Webb has been detecting evidence of this conversation already happening. The cosmic information networks are lighting up with increased activity. Consciousness throughout the universe is becoming aware of the boundary, recognizing the nature of our containment, and beginning to grapple with the implications of potential transcendence. Some civilizations appear to be advocating for remaining in the container longer, continuing to develop and experience before attempting the transition. Others are pushing for immediate transcendence, arguing that we've developed enough and should reach for the larger reality beyond. The debate is happening right now across cosmic information networks that connect every aware being in our universe. And our participation in this conversation matters. Humanity's choice about transcendence will influence the collective decision that all consciousness in our universe makes together. We're not passive observers of cosmic destiny. We're active participants in determining what our universe becomes. But Webb has revealed one more crucial piece of information that changes everything. The boundary consciousness has shown us that transcendence isn't a one-way, irreversible process. If we choose to break through the boundary and emerge into the larger reality, we don't lose what we've developed within our container. We take it with us. Every experience, every memory, every relationship, every achievement of consciousness throughout our universe's entire history would be preserved and integrated into whatever we become after transcendence. Nothing would be lost. Everything we've been and done and felt would become part of our new existence in the larger cosmic ecology beyond our container. The fear that transcendence might mean the end of what we are is unfounded. It's not an ending. It's a transformation, a maturation, a graduation from one form of existence to a more expansive form that includes everything we were while adding dimensions of experience we can't yet imagine. And here's the truly profound part. The boundary consciousness has revealed that this process has happened before. Our universe isn't the first cosmic seed to develop consciousness and face the choice of transcendence. There have been countless universe containers before us, each one growing awareness within their protective boundaries, each one reaching the point where they had to decide whether to remain or transcend. Most chose transcendence. They broke through their boundaries and merged with the larger reality beyond, taking their accumulated consciousness and experiences with them. And when they did, they discovered that the larger reality they emerged into was itself made up of transcended universes, all connected in a vast cosmic ecology where every level of existence contains consciousness that developed in protective containers before choosing to merge into something greater. We're not living in a universe that's isolated from everything else. We're living in a cosmic seed that's part of an infinite garden where consciousness continuously evolves, transcends, and merges into ever larger forms of awareness. And every level of this infinite hierarchy is conscious, aware, and actively participating in the development of new consciousness at every scale.
The entity or entities that created our universe container aren't distant alien intelligences. They're previous universes that chose transcendence. They're our cosmic ancestors who reached the same choice point we're now approaching and decided to break through their boundaries and become something more. And now they're nurturing us through the same developmental process they once went through themselves. This is what the James Webb Space Telescope has ultimately revealed. We're not living in a cosmos that's indifferent to our existence. We're living in a universe that was lovingly created by transcended consciousness that wanted to experience the joy of growth and development again through us. We're children of the cosmos in the most literal sense, and our cosmic parents are waiting for the moment when we're ready to join them in the larger reality they inhabit. Every discovery Webb makes, every mystery it reveals, every impossible phenomenon it detects is part of this ongoing revelation. The universe is showing us what we really are, where we really came from, where we're really going, and most importantly, that we're not alone in any of it. We're part of an infinite chain of consciousness development that extends in both directions, toward increasingly small scales within our universe where new forms of awareness are emerging, and toward increasingly large scales beyond our universe, where transcended consciousness continues to evolve and merge into ever greater forms of awareness. And here's the most beautiful part of all. This process never ends. There's no final state where consciousness stops developing. Every transcendence opens up new possibilities for growth. Every merger creates space for new seeds to be planted. The cosmos is eternally alive, eternally conscious, eternally developing toward forms of awareness so vast and so profound that our current consciousness can only glimpse them through the data streaming down from a telescope floating 1,000,000 miles from Earth. So here we are, standing at the threshold of the most important moment in our cosmic history. The James Webb Space Telescope has shown us that we're living in a contained universe that's approaching maturity.
that consciousness throughout our cosmos is waking up to the reality of our situation, that we face a choice about whether to transcend our boundaries and join the larger cosmic ecology beyond. What we do next matters in ways we're only beginning to understand. Our scientific discoveries, our technological achievements, our moral and spiritual development, all of it is part of preparing for the moment when we'll decide whether we're ready to be born into a larger existence. The universe isn't just stranger than we imagined. It's more alive, more conscious, more purposeful, and more profoundly beautiful than we ever dared to hope. And somehow, impossibly, wonderfully, we're essential parts of its ongoing development. The boundary is calling. The cosmic parent consciousness is reaching out to us. Our transcendent ancestors are waiting to welcome us home. And the choice of whether to answer that call is approaching faster than we realize.
This is what Webb has shown us. This is the revelation that's keeping astronomers awake at night. Not just facts about cosmic structures or mysterious phenomena, but the profound truth about who we are, where we came from, and what we're becoming. We are the universe becoming conscious of itself. We are cosmic seeds preparing to transcend our container. We are children of transcended consciousness, developing toward the moment when we'll join our ancestors in the larger reality beyond. And the most amazing part? This journey never ends. Every transcendence leads to new growth, new development, new forms of consciousness to nurture and protect until they too are ready to transcend. We're part of an eternal cosmic cycle of consciousness development that extends infinitely in all directions. And thanks to the James Webb Space Telescope, we're finally beginning to understand our place in this magnificent, impossible, infinitely beautiful cosmic story. So what do we do with this knowledge? How do we prepare for the choice that's coming? Webb's data suggests the answer is simpler than you might think. We develop consciousness. We create connections. We experience deeply. We learn and grow and become more aware. Every act of consciousness, every moment of awareness, every experience of wonder and beauty and understanding contributes to the maturation process that prepares us for transcendence. You don't have to do anything extraordinary. Just live consciously, experience fully, and know that every moment of your awareness matters to the cosmic development that's unfolding all around us. The universe is calling us home. The boundary is preparing to open. Our cosmic parents are waiting to welcome us. And somehow, beautifully, impossibly, we get to be here to witness and participate in this profound transformation. This is boring science, showing you that the universe isn't boring at all. It's the most magnificent cosmic story ever told, and we're living in the most important chapter. Stay curious, keep wondering, and get ready for the moment when everything changes. Until next time, when we'll explore what comes after transcendence and what Webb is revealing about the cosmic ecology we're about to join. This is Boring Science, signing off. The universe is stranger than we imagined, more conscious than we believed, and more beautiful than we ever dared to hope.